All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another book talk here at Eight Letters Bookstore and Publishing. Once again, I'm your host, Cindy Wong. And well, for today, you just watched medyong madugong usapan tungkol sa book trends na nangyayari ngayon sa like Southeast Asia. So, if you watch that, you should have good insights now on what's happening. What should you do, whether you're a writer or if you're a publisher, and I hope that helps. Okay, so anyway, we also just concluded the Philippine Book Fair just last weekend, and thank you very much to those who attended, to those who bought our books, to those who attended the book signing events of our authors and the meet and greet. Thank you very much. Okay, so anyway, ngayon, as you can see here on our screen, we're going to launch the poetry book by Ronald Sapirao Fernandez. To those standing on the edge, breathe. Okay, so this is the second book of Ronald with us. But before we get him up on the stage, I would like to read. I would like to read his bio so you guys can have more information about him. But again, this is the second book he have with us. He has with us. So the first one was called Silhouette of Dead Stars. It is a novel. Okay, Silhouette of Dead Stars over the Cordillera Range. But anyhow, Ronald Sapirao Fernandez, well, he's not a newbie. He's a writer fellow in the 8th Cordillera Creative Writing Workshop 2021, organized by the University of the Philippines, Baguio City, and the first Benguet Indigenous Youth Arts Guild, or BIAG, a creative writing workshop established by the Office of the Benguet Governor. He's a writer observer in the 11th Pasnaan Ilocano Writers Workshop last 2022, organized by the Dagiti Manunurat ngay Ilocano Iti Filipinas in cooperation with the Commission sa Wikang Pilipino and the Banawag Magazine. He was nominated as the 2022 Boys Love Author of the Year by the Baguio Midland Courier and Ibaloy Kangkanay Bago Ilocano. He lives in La Trinidad, Benguet Cordillera Administrative Region. So let us all welcome Ronald. Hi. Welcome
Hi,
back.
good afternoon. Second time.
Second time. And yeah, thank you so much for trusting your book once again. Your second book with 8 letters. Ronald, can you tell us more about this book? To those who are standing on the edge, breathe. Is this different genre wise? Um, ano ba? I mean, I know it's this one's poetry, the other one's novel, but how about the subject? Is this something similar ba?
Actually, the subject of the two books are different actually because the novel talks about how do you call this? Talks about um the trends here in Cordillera in terms of becoming who you are or yourself. I mean, on the LGBTQAI members. But for this poetry book, it talks more about how one would go beyond his body or her body using words, like expressing your own self through words, or finding your own self by the power of words.
Wow. Okay. So, but this is poetry in English. I can see from the cover pa lang to those who are standing on the edge, breathe. Um, Going in depth into the book, because you mentioned ano ba to, self exploration or um self acceptance. Should we label the book as such?
Actually, more like I would say it's like morphing. Kumbaga sa
Mm-hmm.
butterfly, it's like transcending your body. Parang you're trying to go beyond what your body can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more about healing. It's more about
Mm-hmm.
finding yourself. It's more about taking yourself back from your past
Mm-hmm.
experiences. Because we have to understand that each human beings have their own experiences in life, and sometimes people like us. These experiences drag us down, and this book of poetry would actually would want to push people from the depths of their sorrows or whatsoever and to
Mm-hmm.
know that in every bad situation there's always good things in it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or in
Okay.
them.
Right. Okay. So, maybe what we can do perhaps is to have you read a few excerpts para magkaroon din ng idea yung
Ah,
mga yung mga yung mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, like anong klaseng poetry book ba to? But would you say na because you came from the north, you have something to offer poetry wise?
actually, yes. I have to be honest. When we talk about poetry here in the
Mm,
north, especially with the writers I have shared experiences with, parang mabigat yung dating kapag, for example, we talk about poet and we talk about self-expression or drama, like life
mm,
dramas. What I mean is that kapag ang usapan sa about human emotions, human capabilities, um, expressing them using poetry is more powerful than using or writing these topics in essay or novel or short story form. So parang when we use poetry to express ourselves here in the north, there's much power in that. Kasi parang for me din it's boring to be reading like a sad person tapos in
mm,
an essay form. Parang ang haba niyang tignan. Pero with
mm,
poetry kasi, we can play with the words, we can rhyme words, we can play with phrases, and you can play with the language. So here
mm,
in the North, pagdating sa poem, parang kapag poet ka or nagsusulat ka ng poetry, saludo ang tao sa'yo, especially with the young
mm,
people, because you always say poetry is the language of the heart, and it's one of the things that is hardest to write. Compared with essays, novels, and short stories, we actually use the mind because we have to think about the perfect grammar structure, how to
mm,
write it in a way na the readers would understand it. But for poetry, kasi the writer has to find his place when he is writing. I think
mm,
other writers or other authors that I have shared stories with, sometimes they write at night, like at 12 o'clock a.m., and they play music, they get their coffee or whatsoever, just to parang just to get the spirit of being a poet or a poetess. And here in the north, sa dinami-dami nakakausap ko ng mga authors or poets, most of them are young people. Pagdating sa north dito sa amin, ang poetry namin usually is more about self-expression. But then
mm,
nakikita ko sa trends namin, sa trend, especially with the people na nakakasama ko sa writing workshops, ang nagiging poems na nila is about the society. Na I
mhm,
think that's much important because we've been writing about, being who you are and whatsoever, expressing yourself in your own unique ways. But none of us is actually writing about what we feel and how do we see the society. And then right now we are doing that. So pagdating sa poems here in the Cordillera, I think bulk of the topics are about society and
mhm,
our opinions about things. I only hope no na kasi itong mga topics kasi na dito, especially here in the north, are mabibigat. And
mm,
sometimes parang kapag ito yung topic na sinulat mo, maraming discouragement sa mangyayari sa'yo kasi parang they would not believe you because you are young and then you're writing this one. And they would
mm,
actually say that you don't have enough experience to be writing about this. But then I always say sa mga kasama ko din na authors, we just write and we just keep on
mm,
stating what we think are facts and we just tell the world what we observe because we are not writing for our own selves and we are not writing for just a minimal number of people, but we are writing to express or to reflect on what we feel, what we see, and what we experience in our own societies. And for this book of poetry kasi, hindi naman siya talagang personal sa akin.
mm,
um these are actually stories from other people. Ang ginawa ko lang kasi, yung persona in the poems or yung mga tao doon sa poem or yung narrator sa poem, parang I took the life of these people and I tried to write them in the first person point of view. Kasi sa akin, mas mabigat kasi yung pagsusulat mo kung sa akin lang naman ng poems kapag naka first person point of view because we're trying to empathize and sympathize with these people.
mm,
Yeah, they say when I walk with authors and then with my friends, they say, oh, ito yung boys love author, but then in this book it's different. um
mm,
I try to dig deeper doon sa human emotions. common experiences that we experience. And the one good thing about this work is that I put a limit on the age. The contents of the poem is actually or reflects more about the experiences of young people. Well, I cannot write about old ones. I mean, my old folks kasi hindi ko naman talaga alam yung mga experiences nila. So I think one thing that would connect this book with the readers are the young are the age of the narrators and their experiences. Especially here in the Cordillera kasi parang there are a lot of things na parang di namin pwedeng pag-usapan. Like,
Mm-mm.
we think it's a taboo or taboos. For example, about death, which is also part of the poem, of the book, about, andun pa rin naman yung sexual orientation and sexual expression. And then, ano na yun yung parang trying to get yourself or trying to get your own healing from your past experiences. So, I gusto ko lang basahin itong first part. I think,
Oo. Sige.
introduction niya.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah, I will start. You have been writing again. I know. Is this how you cure your pain? What do you mean? I know you. You write when you are sad, when your mind is being swept by a pernicious silence, when the sun is not shining over you and you need an embrace or warmth, when you feel empty but a heavy weight is within you, your soul is tired, when shadows wrap around you and your spirit cannot breathe, when you need to cry but do not want us to see you suffering, when there are things you want us to know but you cannot muster the words to tell them. Your heart is sinking at the bottom of the sea and you are standing on the edge. Tell me, is this how you cure your pain? Ginawa ko siyang first part kasi here in the north or here particularly here sa Cordillera region, for male authors, even females, parang it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard for us to express ourselves personally by telling our problems, our emotions to other people. It's parang the way we do it is through writing poetry. Kaya nga I think most of or marami sa mga writer fellows ng Biag Writer Workshop are now
Mm-hmm.
preparing their manuscript. Actually, one of the fellows, writer fellows of the Biag Workshop has launched her book with 8 letters, and that is
Mm-hmm.
Dancing with My ano na yun, yung parang Dancing with I forgot,
Ah,
but may puso na poetry din kasi.
oo. Is
Si
it
Diane
performances in my
Pingalo.
head?
Yeah,
Is it?
yes. Diane,
Oo.
yeah, si Miss Pingalo. Because actually we're talking about her poetry then na parang
Mm-mm.
same thing na parang, we're having these kinds of, parang, how do I say? Parang actually we're talking about the same topics and same
Mm-mm.
experiences. It's just a matter of how we write it and how we present it to our readers.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I
But
think our authors here in the Cordillera are actually talking about the same thing. Kaya lang the uniqueness of perception
mm-mm.
and
Mm-mm.
the uniqueness of how we see things, yun yung variety ng writers ng authorship namin.
Mhm. I really love the details na na-mention mo kanina. Okay, marami kang points na nabanggit. Firstly, can we, I think with what's going on with Baguio, with Benguet, sorry, I'm referring to Baguio, but it's a bigger region, by the way.
Actually, yes.
It's a bigger region. Because Baguio is just part of Benguet. But it's good to know that you guys, hindi lang ikaw, so yung writer din ng like Carinderia Love Songs, 'di ba?
Yes, it's
Merong ano, may nangyayari. There's something going on in the north. And there's a lot of writers, emerging writers na, they're doing this self-exploration. They want to be heard. And you did mention sa first book talk natin when we were launching Silhouette of Dead Stars, we did you did mention na yung pagiging conservative ng mga, yung mga usual, I wouldn't say all of the people living there, but what I'm saying is yung nakagisnan ng
mm,
mga tao dyan is more of, the conventional ways of writing. You write about the society, but then, of course, you already know what's going on. But you being a young writer, for us naman, 8 letters perspective naman, it's good to hear these different perspectives because we cannot just close, close the book. We cannot just say na, ay, kami lang yung pakapakinggan dapat dahil kami yung
Ah,
may experience. You have your unique experiences. You have your unique perspectives then in life. And I think, we can really learn a lot from the younger generation nowadays. And we have to bridge that gap, somehow. And I
mm-mm,
think one of the ways is through literature, and it's good that you're doing this very actively. um ayun. So nakalimutan ko na yung ibang points, but then that's very good. And I really hope na your third, fourth manuscript we'll see more of the like evolution, or I mean, we've seen the evolution. It seems like parang nagkakaroon ng renaissance renaissance period sa
North
dyan sa area nyo, parang
I think
okay.
I think with this, kaya nga parang we're planning na parang lahat ng authors, I mean writer
Mm,
fellows ng nakilala ko dito, like at my
mm,
fellows ng BIAG, it would be releasing book, and I think 8 letters will be the gatekeeper for this one. And there are many authors na dito na prepare their manuscript, and then we're trying to fix them and then submit to you. Kasi
mm,
I have to be honest, I don't want to be political, no, but then here kasi there is, how do I say, censorship of self-expression. We say
mm,
that Baguio City and Benguet is actually a haven for self-expression. And many people, especially in the society, that reflects, right? Kasi nandito yung mga makikita ka dyan sa, for example, sa Session Road na lang, na meron kaming
mm,
Session Road in Bloom during Sunday. And then may mga artists doon, and they write or they draw sa road using chalks or colors, and there are banners and whatsoever. Actually, they're trying to censor this already, and I think the only way for escape, or the only way we could escape from this censorship, is by writing these kinds of books. I
mm,
think that's one that is wrong with our society here in the Cordillera region, that we are
mm,
trying to press down issues na dapat
mm,
nating pag-usapan or dapat naming pag-usapan. Good thing that we as authors or writers or artists
mm,
always find a way to express ourselves. And the books coming from the north will actually bridge also, just like what you said a while back, will bridge not only the age but will bridge the ethnic affiliations or the gaps between culture differences. Na hindi
mm,
porket taga North kami, parang kami lang nakaka-experience. I think all people are connected with through experiences. It's just a matter on how we experience these things, the
mm,
intensity and how we perceive things. I think that's the thing. Kaya
mm,
if I will go back to what I told a while back, we actually write the same topics and same issues. It's just a matter on how we experience this one. Sa akin
mm,
siguro medyo nakaka-depress kasi this is how I experience it. Sa
mm,
ibang author naman here in the Cordillera, the same topic, medyo happy siya kasi that's how we experience it. But the thing here is that we experience these things, and these things
mm,
connect us all as authors
mm.
and or
Yeah.
readers parang yun. And
Oo.
I
And
hope that um I would like to use the word revolution, no, na these kinds of poetry books coming from the north will lead revolt
mhm.
on the censorship of self-expression dito sa Cordillera and Baguio City.
Ayun. I really hope that will happen. I mean, maybe it's happening already, pero um, well, I hope, I hope na ano ba, hindi lang ikaw, but then, not that the more the merrier, but the more authors, the more authors, mas malaki yung effort, mas malaki yung effect. Okay. But I think this is also a good chance to remind our viewers now na, ayan, to those who are standing on the edge, Breathe is now available on our website for pre-orders. It's only 450 pesos. It's going to be in cream paper. So, magiging maganda tong book na 'to. By the way, Ronald, who should buy the book? Sino ba dapat ang makikinabang sa book na 'to? Sa tingin mo, who did you write this book for?
Actually, I wrote the book for the general audience, no matter kahit babae ka pa or lalaki, kahit matanda ka or bata. Because this book would really talk about uplifting yourself. We don't talk about gender here, we don't talk about age, but we talk about experiences bad experiences and how you will find your true meaning and how you will find your healing from these experiences. Yon siya.
Mhm. Yun. I feel like this phrase, to those who are standing on the edge, breathe. I feel like this is my battle cry for the whole week kasi hindi lang whole week, but whole year. Kasi ano ba, parang it's not easy, no? Like life after the pandemic and even before the pandemic or during the pandemic. Life challenges, hindi naman talaga ganun kadali yung buhay. So, I really really want to read this in one sitting and I think today is the day. Yeah, so it's only 450 pesos. Ronald, maybe you can read us another excerpt. Is there anything in particular aside from the one you read earlier? Meron ka pa bang favorite excerpt dito?
Actually, parang may mga short lines lang kasi dito, no? And then
Mm-mm,
parang I
mm-mm,
would like to read this one.
mm-mm,
Just for closing na rin.
mm-mm,
Here's one verse that I wrote. Maybe the world needed to be heard sometimes, to be noticed sometimes, to receive the attention she had been seeking all along. I think this line would
mm-hmm,
give you the idea that what about what we are really fighting here in the Cordillera region,
mm-hmm,
na kami na nga yung parang minority group na din, and
mm-hmm,
sometimes hindi din kami narinig sa mga hinaing namin. And I think this particular line, whatever the emancipation trends that we are experiencing, would tell everything. And that's why I would also like to encourage everyone to buy yung mga books galing sa authors ng Cordillera. For example, the Carinderia Love Songs by author John Pukay. It is not typical in essence na hindi namin masyado nababasa yung book or yung theme niya dito sa Cordillera. But then a lot of people coming from the lowlands, sorry for the word, lowlands kasi ang tawag namin
mm-hmm,
sa Cordillera or Baguio City, na they have parang a strong relationship with the narrator of the book. Also, I would like to encourage everyone to buy the book of Miss Diane Pingalo, yung
mm-hmm,
performances in my head ata yun,
mm-hmm,
and then the book,
mm-hmm.
I think it's a poetry book also now, about
Yes.
her own self-expression. So that you will notice that even though we write differently, we actually talk about certain or the same topics or issues that are happening here in the Cordillera. And once again, these are the things that we would like the world to hear from us. And um, it's not a matter of how, parang it's not a matter of, paano ko ba sasabihin ito? It's not a matter of beauty or kung paano siya kagandang sinulat. But it's just a matter of giving you the idea or giving our readers the idea that we are all human beings and we are connected with experiences or by experiences.
Ayun. Wow, wow. I think, yeah, you guys should do that. Let's try to read more books from the Cordillera region. And I think dahil dumadami na rin yung writers ng eight letters, I think we also want to have like focused we want to focus on each and every region para naman magkaroon ng spotlight din yung mga writers natin from all over the country. Para the thing kasi, yun nga, people or writers from Cordillera have different perspectives from the writers from the south because we also have writers from Davao. Same goes with Cebu, same goes within
Mm.
Manila. And pag kailangan marinig natin yung boses nila separately because they are very different. They have something new to offer. So yun. Pero alam mo yun, I know na we are all Filipinos but then nandun pa rin yung point na magkakaiba tayo ng kung paano tayo pinalaki. Although of course maybe we watch the same media, we got influenced by the same media, but iba pa rin yung ano natin, environment natin. So I think that that's very helpful. It's always good to be offered fresh perspectives in whenever we have this book talk. And I wouldn't say that's why I keep on doing this kasi lagi akong
Yeah.
merong bagong natututunan. And not natututunan, but also, someone would remind you na, oh, oo nga pala, by the way, we have writers from this part of the world, blah, 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 blah. So yun, let's not forget about that. So you guys, please get a copy of Ronald's book. Congratulations. And because it's Pride Month, I would also like to invite you guys to also get a copy of Silhouettes of Dead Stars over the Cordillera Range. Ayan, siya rin ang nagsulat niyan, di ba? There. Ayan, yeah, yeah, you can see na Ronald has something new to offer. So there you go. I'm not sure if the next author that we have um will be able to connect kasi parang kanina nagkaroon siya ng internet connection. Otherwise, we'll have to end this book talk, unfortunately. So yun, Ronald, maybe you can tell us where we can find you, where can we follow you, and ayan, and nag-appear na
Yeah,
siya.
okay, thank you.
Yan,
Thank you, Miss
ayan.
Cindy.
Okay.
Actually, if people would like to know more about me, you can just search my name on Facebook. That is Ronald Shapiro Fernandez. I have a literary page. Also, you can search me on Instagram, Ronald Shapiro Fernandez din po. And I'll see you also sa mga book events here in Baguio and in the Cordillera because I am also participating in these kinds of events. So sa mga taga Baguio dyan, we'll see each other. Marami tayong events ngayon. May mga issues pa tayong hinaharap. But then we will still fight for our freedom and self-expression.
Yun. Ingat-ingat. Naku, parang nang tatakot ako
Alright.
para sa'yo. Ingat-ingat. Okay, yun. Thank you, Ronald.
Thank
And yes, good luck
you.
to your book. To those who are standing on the edge, breathe, get that sa 8 Letters Bookstore website. It will be available soon on Shopee and Lazada. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye,
Miss Cindy.
Ronald.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so just stay tuned because we'll have the author of Biringan um pressure. I'll have him in a bit. Let's just take a minute break. Okay, so Chris, please stand by. We'll get you on stage in a bit. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. So now we're back. We're back. So you can see now kung ano na yung sunod nating pag-uusapan. The Biringan Treasure by Chris S. Alarde. But before we get him on the stage, I would like to read his bio so you guys have an idea kung sino ba si Chris Alarde. This is also well, uh, he's a new author of 8 letters. Isinilang siya sa Pinagtalyeran, Calawag, subalit lumaki siya at nagkaisip sa bayan ng Lopez, Quezon. Nagpatuloy ng pag-aaral sa Bicol University at kumuha ng BSE major in biology at minor sa physical science. Naglumipat ng Laguna, lalong naging aktibo si Chris Pulo sa mga gawaing kultural. Itinatag niya ang teatro, dumalayan at naging aktibong pangkat pantanghalan sa Laguna at kasapi ng pagsilag o pantanghalang sining ng Laguna. Nagpatuloy si Chris Pulo Chris Alarde sa pagsusulat. Pinasok niya ang pagsusulat ng mga literaturang popular tulad ng mga love and romance pocketbooks na halos 200 title ang kanyang nailathala mula noong taong 1995 hanggang 2000. Wow! At naging guro din siya sa FEU bilang profesor sa asignaturang Pilipino at Literatura. Sa FEU tinapos niya ang kanyang Doctor of Educational Management. Naging kasapi at kalihim si Chris Pulo ng FEU Writers Guild at kasamang naging manunulat ng mga aklat sa asignaturang Pilipino tulad ng sining ng pakikipagtalastasan, retorika at komunikasyon at pananaliksik sa wika at kulturang Pilipino. Ang isa sa likhang dulang pantanghala na nilikha ni Chris ay ang Makabagong Urbana at Felisa, isang musikal na itinanghal ng FEU Theater Arts Guild noong 2014. Sa kasalukuyan, retirado na si Chris Pulo, nais na lamang niyang maisaaklat at muling isulat ang kanyang likhang pampanitikan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Chris Alarde. Let's try. Okay na po ba, Sir Chris? Nakamute po kayo. Pa-unmute po. Magandang hapon. Ayan po. Medyo pa-unmute na lang po. Teka, subukan ko po i-unmute kayo.
Okay.
Ayan, medyo.
Hear me now?
Ayan, okay na po. Opo, okay na po. Kumusta po?
Okay, buti nakakonect ako.
Oo nga, kaya nga. Ayan nga po. Pag-uusapan po natin ngayon yung The Beringan Treasure, pero nung binabasa ko kanina yung bio nyo, Diyos ko, medyo mabigat. I know na retired na kayo, but marami na kayo nasulat na libro. Ano po yung 400 books na yun?
Pardon?
Pwede po bang ma-share?
Noong 1995 kasi, naging sikat ang mga pocketbooks. Ano? Para yung feeling like had potato. So I decided to write. But since 16 pa lang ako, nagsusulat na ako sa comics, sa Atlas. Then nung nasa college na ako, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang writings ko sa school. And then, nung sumikat nga mga pocketbooks, ay nag-try ako na magsulat. So, mabuti naman at napasok ko yung writings. And I published books in different publications, especially the PNCR. I published 5 books in their publication. Then when I was in academe, so napa-focus ako sa mga literatura na panitikan. So I have a lot of short story na nasulat. It is available online at available din sa mga books na ginagamit ng mga estudyante. Then, ang focus ko talaga in writing is theater. Kasi when I was in college, I was a member of Bata. Then, nag-start din ako magsulat ng mga tulang pantanghala. So, I put up organization or club sa theater art. So, yun yung outlet ko para ma-stage yung mga idea ko about stage.
Wow, congratulations. Grabe po pala yung inyong mga naging karanasan sa pagsusulat. Like imagine 400 books, 400 stories. Para kayo nagsusulat halos araw-araw, tama po ba?
Hindi naman.
Halos araw-araw.
May mental block.
Hindi naman. Ayun, dahil naging professor din kayo, pero grabe, ang dami yung nasulat. Pero pag-usapan naman natin ngayon yung The Beringan Treasure. Tungkol saan po ba to? Kasi nung nabasa ko yung blurb, ito po ay tungkol sa isang maligno na nagkagusto sa isang babae, si Melinda, at inalagaan niya ito, binigyan ng mararangyang regalo, at hinintay lamang na ganap na siya ay maging dalaga. So yung ama niya, yung albularyo, yung humadlang. Pero yung question dito is, ano ba, kahit tumakas na siya sa Manila, ang tanong matatakasan nga ba talaga niya? So, yung genre po ba na sinusulat nyo, bali, nagbabago-bago po ba? Kasi kanina sabi niyo sa PH art, sa literaturang Pilipino, ngayon naman fantasy. Bilang manunulat, meron po ba kayong paboritong genre?
Ang genre ko talaga ay NR, love and romance. Pero depende sa hinihingi ng publication before. Kasi every now and then, nababago yung trend ng genre sa mga dumaraang panahon. So, the publication give us idea kung ano ang dapat sulatin. Sila yung nagbibigay ng, uy, sumulat ka ng ganito kasi in yan. Pero, the Brilliant Treasure, trending kasi ito eh. Kasi most of the time, ang springboard ko, ano ba yung pinag-uusapan? Ano ba yung pinag-uusapan ng sa social media? Ano ba yung trending na issue? So, ang Biringan Treasure kasi napaka ano ito eh. Ang Biringan Place Plan na treasure. Ang Biringan ay alam ng ano yan, alam ng mga social media kung ano yung Biringan. Alam yan ng mga readers. Pero yung mga ordinaryong tao na walang alam sa social media, they did know about Biringan. Matagal na to eh. I read a lot of issue regarding the Biringan. So, yun yung naging springboard ko to make story of my own ha, hindi ibig sabihin naka-base ito kung ano yung pinag-uusapan nila. So, ang ginawa ko springboard, kasi most of the time, ang writings ko kasi, ang springboard na ginagamit ko ay kung ano yung pinag-uusapan ng tao. Para yung, yun yung pinaka-idea ko. So, I give you my story para ma-enhance kayo regarding Biringan Treasure. But hindi ko yan sinusulat kung hindi ako nagbabasa about that. Kasi maraming connection yan eh. Lalo na mga Pilipino, mahilig tayo sa mga ganyang kwento. Kaya I decided to write the Biringan Treasure. It is a fiction siya, no? Hindi siya totoo. No? Pero siya pinag-uusapan. So, I do hope na maibigyan ninyo. Try ninyong basahin. Dadalhin ko kayo sa ibang lugar na hindi ninyo nararating. At bibigyan ko kayo ng kayamanan. Makikita ninyo how maligno kung paano siya magmahal ng tao. At paano na natin sila mahalin. Ano? So, makikita ninyo na sana magmahal nila ako ng maligno. Kasi sa maligno makakita mo yung treasure. Sa kapwa natin tao sometimes, sisingilin ka pa.
Wow, very interesting. Parang ito po, it reminds me of nung bata pa ako. Nagbabasa ako ng mga comics. Na-mention nyo kanina comics, no? May mga fantasy comics din po kasi eh. Parang ito yung mga usual na mga nababasa ko sa mga fantasy comics dati. But that was like 20 years ago. Ito po ba is parang may ganyang effect, yung Biringan Treasure?
Yeah, parang ano eh. Kasi alam natin, once na nagustuhan ka ng isang elemento, especially di maligno, susubaybayan ka talaga niya eh. Ibibigay sa iyo lahat ng bagay na gusto mo. Pero alam natin, yung mga gift na natatanggap natin sa mga elementong yan, hindi natin pinakikialma. Kasi nga, baka bawiin sa atin. Ito yung twist na inilagay ko. Kasi I read doon sa mga online na usapan tungkol sa maligno. Now, once na ibigay na ng maligno ang treasure, that's yours. Hindi na yan babawiin nila. Basta sa'yo na yan. So, si Melinda, maraming gift na ibinigay sa kanya yung maligno na kagustuhan. And then, she decided na gamitin to change her life. And also, ginamit ni Melinda ang treasure para anumang gawin ng maligno, meron siyang chance na labanan ng maligno.
So, masasabi po ba natin masasabi po ba natin na ito ay isang romance story? Pwede po bang ma-inlove talaga si Melinda sa isang maligno?
Yeah. No. Na-inlove siya when he's young. kung dalagita pa lang siya. Pero nung, kasi
Mhm.
basta maganda, no? Sabihin ko sa inyo, kahit ako nung habang sinusulat
Huwag na
ko,
nating spoil.
medyo na-excite ako eh. Ano? Ito yung first
Oo.
draft pa lang to. First draft. Ibig sabihin, this is the first part. And
Mhm, so may
another
kasunod
book
pa?
na lalabas is The Princess of Biringan, which is the
Hmm.
child of Melinda and the Maligno.
Ayan,
Maganda yun.
nakaka-excite. Parang yan din, gusto ko rin yan mabasa. So, The Bidding and Treasure is just part 1 sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon. Please take note, part 1 and part 2 magkakaroon ito ng ito naman yung sequel. So, ayan, The Princess of Biringan. So, yan, very interesting po, Chris. Um,
Ah,
Grabe, parang we're very honored here sa Eight Letters for your trusting your manuscript with us. So etong The Biringan Treasure, sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, please note na pwede na kayo mag-pre-order. It's only 320 pesos. 320 pesos sa website namin. Sa Shopee and Lazada, magiging available din siya. Ayan. So, Sir Chris, so yan ang dapat naming abangan sa inyo ngayon. Yung Princess of Biringan, pagkatapos nitong Biringan Treasure. Pwede po bang malaman, no? Dahil ngayon ay retired na po kayo. Ang gusto niyo na lang mangyari ay mailathala. Meron pa po ba kayong mga ibang nakatago diyan sa baul na balak niyo pang ilathala bukod sa dalawang 'to?
meron akong sinend sa inyo before, yung aking anthology ng
Mm.
short story. Mostly it is
Mm.
a social issue kasi pag mga literatura yung aking sinusulat na pang-academe, it is mostly concerned about social issue.
Mhm.
Kaya mga yung nakapaloob sa akin anthology, short story, it is all about human story. Pag binasa mo to
Mm.
na mga short story ko, siguro mga 2,000 words per story, ay talagang
Mhm.
talagang heart talk, especially family,
Mhm.
friends, yung pagpipilit mo na mabago ang buhay mo, yung mga experiences ng tao, nado doon.
Mhm.
Pag binasa ninyo
Mm.
yung mga short stories ko, so pwede rin nyo i-google yung name ko, Chris Puloy Salardo Jr. At mababasa ninyo yung part ng mga short story ko na published already sa iba't
Mhm.
ibang books.
Mhm. Ayan. So, ayan, sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon, i-Google niyo po si Chris Alarde. So, marami na po siyang mga naisulat, nasa 400 na over the course of his career. So, ngayon naman ay nagfo-focus na siya sa novels and yon collection of short stories. So, ayan, abangan po natin yan. So, Sir Chris, saan po namin kayo pwedeng ma-follow? Para meron po ba kayong social media para naman
May social
malaman
media
namin kung may
account.
mga updates pa kayo? Mhm.
May social media account ako na
Mhm.
Prof. Pen. Ibig sabihin, Professor Pen. Sa, sa Facebook, lagay lang yung Prof. Pen.
Mhm.
At meron din ako mga short stories sa, Wattpad, Dr. Alarde Jr. So,
Wow.
naroon yung mga
Check
short
po natin
story ko.
'yan.
Mga short story ko. Hindi siya isa ko doon. Naroon din siya.
Mhm. Ayun,
Then,
maraming
sa Facebook
maraming salamat po. Oo, sa Facebook. Opo, sige po. Ayan. Okay. So, bali po, meron kayong Wattpad, meron din kayong Facebook, at pwede rin natin i-Google si Chris Alarde. Marami po siyang mga naisulat na. And ngayon, The Biringan Treasure, abangan din naman natin yung Princess of Biringan. So, ayan. Marami tayong aabangan na mga stories dito sa Eight Letters. And I think na nare-reach naman natin yung goal natin, no, to have as much Filipino stories out there in the world. Yan. So, yun, thank you so much po,
thank
Chris
you.
Alarde. Please get a copy of The Biringan Treasure for only 320 pesos. Available na siya sa aming website, but soon, Shopee and Lazada na rin. Ayan. So, maraming salamat sa panonood ng Book Talk, and next week ulit, next week at 4 o'clock, Saturday, we'll go live again to launch more books here at Book Talk. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
And bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Maraming
thank you.
salamat
Thank you,
po.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.